Hey, what's up, guys? Brian Peterson here. Teach me grappling, sort of. Not tonight. Um, I'm just sitting here. I didn't do a video. Cool dude. What's up, dude? All right, we got one person in here. Cool dude's in here. Exodus, what's up? 357 Kill Bill, what's up? Guys, I'm guilty. I did not do a video tonight. So, hey, what's up? All right, room's already filling up. We've got 16, 17, and counting. Didn't take long. Robert, when I catch an armbar from the mount, how come they keep getting up? Okay, you catch an armbar from the mount, but they keep getting up. Um, I Let's talk about this, Robert. So when you catch an armbar from the mount, you're saying you spin. I assume you're falling to your back, and then they're getting up on top of you. So maybe you're not keeping them down. So for right now, guys, let's let Robert try to type. Okay, he says yes. Okay, so very important when you spin to an armbar. If you guys let's assume I'm in the mount and I'm gonna attack my opponent's right arm. That means a lot of times in basic jiu-jitsu, you learn you hold their arm with your right arm and then you cross your left hand over their face. That's like old school jiu-jitsu. When you do that and you pass the leg over, they may fly up. And what ends up happening is they're able to hip heist and flip their legs over and get to their knees and then pressure you and stack you. I assume that's probably what's going on. One easy fix for this is what I really like to do and I teach is instead of the right arm through the loop on their right arm, is as you slide up and you prepare for the armbar, you go left arm through the loop for their right arm. And then with your right hand, you underhook the leg. When you go with the leg control and you swing the leg over, they won't be able to get up because you have the leg. They can't hip heist. So that's one idea. Obviously, if I wanted to go old school, I should still be able to keep the guy down if I use and activate my leg that's over the head. If you pressure that leg over the head, the guy should not be able to sit up. Having said that, some guys are crazy athletic, and it's a game. So yeah, Robert, I hope that makes sense. Hope that helps you out. Okay, let me try to come back. I'm getting text messages also. So anyway, it looks like we have our own like PG group, our PG group message, and it's right now beeping because somebody saw that this was on, and now they're going crazy over it too. So we may have some of my students hop in here. Anyway, how do I make my traps bigger? Do a lot of high pulls. You want to get bigger traps. Lots of trap workouts like high pull. Grab the bar like this and then pull them up. I used to have pretty big traps. I'm getting old and my body's. I'm still strong, but I'm shrinking. I no longer have a good build anymore. Anyway, okay. So I control master. So I control master crucifix. Armando. Yeah. Okay. Let me get the next one. Mick Hauser. Hello. Could you detail finishing the Barata Plata from the mount? Thank you. Yeah. I mean, from the mount, guys. I'm sure you guys have seen the Barata Plata video that I put out years ago. It's kind of like the most popular Barata Plata video, if I may say so. I show a lot of it. Mick, if you can, explain to me what you mean by finishing it from the mount. Do you mean like not going to your back or finishing it from the top? Because I show both variations in that video. It's a pretty old video. Still holds true if you guys want to do that. Although I did show some stuff that I do not do, which is like my own like modified stuff. Just disregard that stuff. That was like long ago. I abandoned that stuff a long time ago. So it's not a perfect video. I wish I could update it and change it. Yes, finishing from the top. Having trouble with the finish, the sit out. Okay, I see what you're asking. Again, I'm not going to be able to communicate too well over right now with my voice with that question. I would just reference that video again. I'm sorry if that's not the answer you're looking for, but I would reference that video and then really look at it and see all the angles on how I sit and how I apply the pressure. Also, you guys could reference Rafael Freitas, but because he's obviously the man when it comes to that. 3 best techniques suited to shorter fighters, please. Do you mean this is like PKV, a million numbers after this? Um, 3 best techniques. I would say, guys, look, rear naked choke, killer. Guillotines, killer. You got to know guillotines. You got to go know rear naked chokes. You're not going to be a triangle guy. Arm bars are good, but guys that are skilled will pull their elbows in. If you're a monster grappler and you know you have good skill, you can almost always put people in the back control at some point if you're good at passing the guard. And then also the guillotine choke. People have to they got to lift their neck up if they want to get back at you at some point. And that's why Marcelo Garcia is a master of back control and also the guillotine. I would look for north-south choke, short limb person, north-south choke, guillotine, and rear naked. Maybe tack onto that also arm triangles, or else arm triangle, not like Dars, but more like arm triangle from the mount with a short grip. Some people call it the side choke. It's also really good. And then also, I would also say, I kind of lost my train of thought. The Kimura. Usually shorter guys are really strong. They may not be able. You may not feel like you can reach, but usually you have some sizable muscle. Kimuras are always good as well. So, okay, I'm gonna keep moving on. If you had to tap out the mountain from Game of Thrones, how would you do it? Jer Lopez. You know what? I'll be honest. I'm so dumb. I think I know who the mountain is because I think I've seen. I didn't he like do something with Conor McGregor? I think I saw a video on that with him playing around with Conor. I don't watch Game of Thrones, guys. I'm sorry if you guys are like Game of Thrones fans. I just figured out that GOT was like short for Game of Thrones. Like I just figured that out a while back. Anyway, how would I do it? Rear naked choke. When you have a big guy, it's you've got to attack the neck and you don't want to involve their arms. So it's guillotine and it's rear naked. And usually when you're a little guy, it's possible to get a guillotine, but you could get slammed. It's much better to go for the back, and it's much safer. But that is a huge man. So if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, okay, I need to get my Anaconda and Darce locked in and finish. I have a buddy I can't seem to finish. Yeah, those are tough moves, man. I love them, the Anaconda and the Darce. I am not. Let me talk a little bit about Marcelo Garcia. If you guys don't know who he is, he's like the grappling god. Nobody's god, but you know what I'm saying. He was the man. The point is, he is quoted as saying something along the lines of, he doesn't like Kimuras, he does not like Anacondas or Darces, and then everyone likes to point out the fact that when he got tapped in 2005 Abu Dhabi, he got tapped by a Kimura by Jacare, and then also he got Darsed by Drysdale in 2007. So, but he also has been quoted as saying he doesn't favor those techniques, but he has a point. So, although I don't think you should take that approach, like you shouldn't work on them, they're very good techniques. Having said that, I actually agree with him that the Anaconda and the Darce are difficult. So people have these problems like what Alexander Kesa or Keka is having. Can't finish his buddy with an Anaconda or a Darce. And a lot of times, you push your arm through on a Darce and you try to get the lock and your fingers do this. They come to here. They're not deep like this. So they go here, and then now you're using so much strength. And it's something that I always reference in my videos. I always talk about it. I haven't had that video yet where I talk about why I like the Anaconda slightly more than the Darce, even though that I've flip-flopped over the years. I started with Anaconda, I went to Darce, and then I went back to Anaconda, and I'm kind of like they're both great. I think they're both great, but I still slightly favor the Anaconda. And it has to do with when you Darce someone and a person opens, your lock really gets compromised. So I will do a video on it someday. But when you do the Anaconda, as Rafa Mendes has shown everyone on the Anaconda, the lock is at the armpit, at the arm side. So it's not on the neck side. So what happens is they try to open their elbow to open up to defend, and then you have this amazing leg assist. And the leg assist is very hard to deal with. I'll be honest with you guys. I got tapped one time by, let me give him a little shout. Not that he's watching or even would, but I'll give him some credit. He was he was definitely bigger than me, so I think it was part of why he caught me. Because I've been doing this a long time. I'm pretty good at defending, but I got tapped by Savak Magakian, I believe his name. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, I believe. You guys know he's under Gokor, and he actually does the same thing that Rafa Mendes does. And when I was rolling with him, he's definitely got 15, 20 pounds on me. But he's good. He's good, and he's strong, and he caught me. Caught me one time with it. It got under my skin, but it made me work on my defense. It also made me consider a little bit more of the Anaconda. I did get out the other time he caught me. He almost put me out, and I was able to get out. But dude was tough with that. So he's got it really good. The leg assist is hard to deal with. That's all I'm going to say until I do a video on it. So you say I need – so how am I helping you, Alexander? I need to get my Anaconda darts locked in and finished. So here's what I recommend. When you're doing darts, you've got to stay on your toes, keeping the pressure so that when you feed your arm inside, you don't allow the opening on the darts. You've got to kind of catch the guy. You got to catch him, because if you have an explosive opponent that knows how to rotate, and most of the time if you just go belly down, if it's in the side position where you're on top, he will rotate belly down, and now your position's wrong. If your chest is on their back, you don't have a good darts. Okay, it's not where you really want to be. And then as far as the Anaconda goes, again, the problem with most Anacondas that people do, they lock a gable grip, they try to execute a front headlock, and they try to pry the arm across. And you're kind of like, you're trying to win by force. You're trying to just dominate. And that sounds like a good thing, right? But when you have a front headlock and you're trying to do that, you now have a full-on resisting opponent. So it becomes hard to get to your lock. That's why I try to focus on doing techniques like for the Anaconda. I really we learned this in freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling, how to do a front headlock and throw. Because when I throw my opponent, I can put him on his back or on his side, and then I can do the leg assist. Okay. When I bring my leg up, I have that on one of my videos. There's a video with Vince Pichel. You guys can look it up. Anaconda. Just go to Teach Me Grappling, figure it out, and then you'll catch the video where I show how to do that, and I talk a little bit about different angles. Anyway, that'll help. I think I spoke enough about it. Again, let me try to move down. We've got, oh my gosh, there's so many questions. I'm lost. I'm trying to scroll through. Sorry, guys. Maybe I should go a little quicker, but do you teach striking and MMA at your school? Triception asks. Yes, I do. I try not to teach too much striking. I do basics. I do basics with the guys, but I don't claim to be a striking coach. I don't have an extensive background in striking. Having said that, everybody who works with me always compliments me and says, dude, you're like the best striking coach I've ever had. And it's like ridiculous, because I'm not. Maybe I am for them, but I am not a great striking coach. I've brought on guys. The guy who trains our fighters in the old days was Pete Sugarfoot Cunningham, amazing kickboxing champion. If you guys don't know who he is, he was under Benny the Jet, and he's an amazing guy. So he works with Vince Pichel right now. He's a striking coach, and then also Herman Baltazar, former student of mine. He doesn't do jiu-jitsu anymore right now. He's just working on his striking. And mostly, I think he's transitioning more into coaching. He was actually very good at MMA as well. But these guys are our striking coaches. And then also my good friend Majid Reyes. So these are the guys I defer to. They're the experts. I do basics, and that's about it. All right, crucifix from side control. Yeah, you want. Oh, I know, you guys. I know you guys. What you want is you guys, Armando. You want the ground and pound crucifix, right? I know so many people want to know how to defend it. I've got that in mind. I've got it planned. I got to do a video on that. It's a very difficult position to get out of. Everybody wants to have answers, and I'll be honest, guys, a lot of this is not getting in it. If you get in a proper ground and pound crucifix, you're in up shit's creek without a paddle. So it's bad. Where do babies come from, coach? Oh man, this is awesome. I said ask me anything, huh? Yeah, well, I'm no expert on that. I haven't made any babies, guys. 41 years old, no babies yet. Favorite judo throw. Favorite judo throw, Sumigeshi. I'm a Sumigeshi guy. I tried one today. It failed miserably. I have these good high school kids, man, high school wrestlers, and I teach them the Sumigeshi, and I do it so many times that I got my ass kicked today. I got my ass handed to me today by a 16-year-old. It's great when you have such a good wrestling team. We're not the greatest team in the world, but we have some good kids. They will push the hell out of you. It doesn't matter if you're a grown man. My high school kids, you get in there with my high school kids, they're in such good shape, and they will beat you up when it comes to wrestling. So if I could choke them, that's different. But if I'm just wrestling, they get me tired, and then they eat me alive for right now, but I'm getting in better shape. Okay, what do you do if someone has you in the mount and is a lot stronger than you, and they have both your wrists trapped and held down? Chris from Mike's World. Okay, my wrists are pinned down. You're being mounted. This is a common basic thing. Schoolyard, it happens. You get your older brother pins you down. Guys, again, bring your elbows close to your body. Pull your elbows in. That already makes you stronger. So while they're trying to pin you down, don't let your arms extend. See what's going on with my shoulders? I pull my elbows in, and it kind of makes my shoulders look like they're a little bit bigger. Now I'm a little bit more powerful. Now you're going to bridge. When you bridge to one side, you're not using your strength. You're just pulling your hands in so that your opponent who's controlling, the hands come in. Then when you hit that bridge, he has to reach out and post his hands. That's what you have to do. Again, if you have a guy like that dude from Game of Thrones that people were referencing earlier, dude, somebody like that could hold you down with ease. They're way too big. But it's important that you don't let somebody dominate you. Like, there's a point where you have to escape before you're being dominated. And that's true of any position. Like commonly side control, you have to escape before it's bad. Because if you let somebody get a good hold, you're going to be stuck, you know. So when it comes to that, do it right away and you'll be better off. That's about all I can give you for right now. Love your videos, coach. Do you think kids should train wrestling before BJJ? Guys, no. You should do both. You should do one or the other, or do both. I'm not a style racist. I'm like, do what makes you happy, guys. They're all good. There's no thing I can say like do it before or one before the other is going to make you better. It's not about that. It's really just you, and every individual is different. You could train striking all your life and then find jiu-jitsu later and be amazing. You could be jiu-jitsu and wrestling all your life, find striking later and be amazing. You could do them both at the same time and be amazing. I definitely think you should balance your martial arts though. So, and I do believe that wrestling, I don't believe that BJJ, the way it is taught at most schools, is a standalone. I know a lot of jiu-jitsu people get their feelings hurt by that, but I really don't believe it is. I think it's incomplete. The current way it's being taught needs to add wrestling to it, or judo. It has to have that element added to BJJ. Now, if you truly ask me what I think, BJJ should already have wrestling. If you already have wrestling inside of BJJ, you don't necessarily need wrestling. If you teach BJJ, in my opinion, the right way, but the way it's the majority of it's taught, it's too passive. Again, I know I'm pissing off the jiu-jitsu crowd, and I guys, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy through and through. So I am not a wrestler that does a little bit of grappling and submission. I'm a BJJ guy. Some people go, "Are you a catch wrestler?" I'm like, "No, I'm not a catch wrestler, but I know what they're doing. I've studied. I'm not like clueless. I know I'm trust me, I've been wrestling now 26 years. I'm familiar. Um, Nobody knows everything, but I'm familiar with a lot of it. So and I that's why I think people need to be balanced. And I'm not perfect, I'm not the best in the world, but I know a lot of shit. And it's good to know a lot of shit. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So balance your training. Do them both, or do all. Okay, finishing. Okay, let's see. Getting lost. What's the best way you know to get out of full Nelson? Don't get in it. You guys get caught in a full Nelson. You know you got this move. You resist. You resist as much as you can. Then you give the slack, and then you try to slide down. Um, because I'll tell you what, if you get caught, you're in deep shit. You know, a full Nelson should not happen. You should always keep your elbows disciplined, and full Nelsons will not occur. The wrestlers in the world don't understand that because they go, "What are you talking about? Full Nelson's easy to do." In a wrestling match, I just get a half, and then I put in two of them. I could get a full Nelson, but that's because of the nature of wrestling. Wrestling deals with pins. When pins are involved, you fight to your stomach, and then you get caught in half Nelsons and full Nelsons. If they're legal. And a lot of people don't know this, but freestyle wrestling, you can actually do a full Nelson. A lot of people think the full Nelson's illegal because Americans are brainwashed with folk style, which is what we do in high school and college and youth. Um, Full Nelsons are actually legal in freestyle if you go off to the side. You just cannot pry the guy's head and neck crank and try to break his neck, but you can run it around off the side. Anyway, okay, so don't get in full. What I'm saying is like full Nelsons won't occur if you're like defending yourself. Now, I've caught people in full Nelsons during jiu-jitsu. It's possible. It is a move I look for. So, and it might even be a move I'll teach someday. But it's generally very difficult. I mean, the percentage is rear naked chokes, guys, arm bars. You know, go for the chokes, go for the arm bars long before the full Nelson. But somebody's not paying attention, get them in a full Nelson. How do you grapple with people who are hyper defensive and don't allow you to get any grips, almost run away from you on the feet? Exodus asks. I call them names. I talk shit about their mother. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. Being serious. If somebody backs up, remember the number one defense in self-defense is to run. When you run away from your opponent, it's very hard to do anything. So somebody who's constantly running away and that's all they're doing and disengaging and avoiding contact is very hard to fight. I admit, you know, the sport of wrestling has something called stalling for a reason because even the best guys in the world cannot take down a guy. If you're best in the world, you cannot take down this guy. You can take down this guy, but not this guy, even though you're clearly better than him. But once stalling is enforced, you destroy him. But if stalling was not enforced, this guy can just disengage and play like that. That's why you have to have, it's the same as boxing. You don't have to be the best boxer to not get knocked out by Floyd Mayweather. If you're not in a ring. If you're not in a ring, you could just run. If you're constantly disengaging, he will never be able to catch you to knock you out. And then occasionally, now I'm not saying you can know nothing about boxing. I'm saying you're just like a decent guy. If you're a decent guy. If Conor McGregor was fighting Mayweather without a ring, there's no ring. And his goal was to just survive, he could run the whole time. And then occasionally when Mayweather has to run after him, he could get close. And then they split it up. And then he could just play in this game. It's stalling. It's timidity. It's not allowed in the sport. But that's important to understand. Once you understand that the best defense is to run away from your opponent, guys use it. They do it. Once you understand that, you go. So it's a point where you have to eventually say, I'm serious. Usually I'm the coach, so I can do it with my students. Time out. Listen, I want to explain something to you. I'm really saying this for your benefit. I'm not saying this because I'm upset that I can't get you. And that may even be true a little bit. The real reason is for your betterment. if you run away from the fight, you're not really learning how to fight. So I need you to like try to play the game a little bit. Don't run away from the fight. If we had a boundary where you couldn't back up anymore, we're locked in a small room, then maybe we could fight, and you could try to avoid and we can still create a fight. But then there's to tail on. So now that takes care of, like, I'm talking about the running, and then now you have the guys that just constantly disengage grips. You have to take them down. This is where like also if you pull guard, if you're a guard puller, you pull guard, the guy gets on top and he's just a defensive and he just stalls. That becomes very difficult. That's why you have to be great at constant varying attacks, setting up different things, whether it be back takes or sweeps, and combined with your submissions, so that you can put your opponent on their back. Once you can sweep them, that's why the best guys in the world talk about how top is better. Like even Keenan Cornelius, who is so good on the bottom, he talks about being on top is more dominant. Once you're on top, if a guy defends, you can crack the egg. What I call crack that nut. So you can wear them out and break them. It's only a matter of time at that point. So they can only play defensive like this for so long. I mean, eventually you're going to crack it open as long as you're not making mistakes. I know that this doesn't answer. I hope it's a good answer, but I know it doesn't really make you. Maybe it'll make you better. I don't know. You tell me later. Okay. When I watch Coach Brian, I always ask myself, would he be able to choke or at least to compete with active fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov? Okay. Guys, look, I did that video. What would I don't even remember the name now. What Conor McGregor should have done. And I got all this I'm serious. These guys were seriously hating on me. Oh, I bet you can't do that to Khabib. If Khabib was there, he would kick your ass, all this stuff. Look, of course Khabib would kick my ass. Like if I fought him. I'm right now, I'm 41 years old. I'm serious. I'm past my prime. I'm not even in shape right now. I get my ass kicked by my high school wrestlers sometimes. I'll admit. Now, granted, I can do well in the beginning, but it's once I get tired. We're not in the same weight class. But let me say this. If he's my size, if we were the same weight, I guarantee you, I'm not talking about fighting MMA. I'm not ready to do that right now. But if we're grappling, I guarantee you I could hang with him for a while till I got tired. I guarantee you. Technically, Khabib doesn't know what I know. He doesn't. He's a great fighter. I know this hurts the feelings of so many fight fans, but guys, the fighters that win all the championships, let me break this to you. They're not the best in the world when it comes to technique. They're not. A lot of these guys have the heart of a lion. They got the eye of the tiger. And that eye of the tiger, that heart of the lion, is part of why they're the champion. You cannot, that's huge. That's amazing. And I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm trying to put it up on a pedestal because that's part of being a champion. And I'll admit, I don't have that level. I'll admit it. I don't have that level. Whenever I got beat by people, and I've lost, it was almost never because of technique. It was almost always because of the heart of the lion and maybe the physicality of their conditioning. So when it comes, that's why commonly the best teachers weren't the best fighters. You guys notice John Danaher never really competed. He's not a competitive jiu-jitsu guy, but the guy knows his shit. I'm sure you guys know that. If you wanted to learn grappling, would you go to Khabib or would you go to Danaher? And if you guys are the ones, if you're seriously thinking about becoming the best that you can be, you shouldn't pick Khabib. I mean, he's a great fighter and all. And now I will say this, he obviously is going to know a lot more wrestling than Danaher would know. But when it comes to like grappling, submission skills, positioning on the ground, without a doubt, you're not going to want to go to a champion in the UFC. You're going to want to go to Danaher. It's just simple as that. And I think that's not a bold statement. I think that's I think I'm on good ground by saying that. So, but when I was younger, guys, I definitely could compete with anybody. When I was younger, There's nobody in the world that was just going to mop the floor with me. Again, at my time, I want to get off this subject because I feel uncomfortable with this, but I did not fight all the best guys out there because I wasn't like a huge competitor, but I wasn't doing it a ton, but I did compete with Jeff Glover. I competed with several other pretty good guys, pretty high level guys, and Jeff wasn't able to tap me. I do feel that he was technically a little bit better at his jiu-jitsu, but I feel like my wrestling equalized it, and I feel like we were close to even. I will admit that after the match was over, I felt like he was slightly better, but not like by a great degree. I mean, he caught me in some submissions that I was able to escape. One was a guillotine, one was a Dars, and we competed twice with each other, and he's very good. He's very technical, but I definitely can compete. I may not be able to beat him, but I can compete. So I'm sure he would agree. So I will rewatch. It's probably bad body mechanics on my part. I appreciate it. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm never going to get to all these questions, guys, and I can't do this all night, but thank you guys so much. We've got like 51 people listening, so it's cool. Do you have any of your own bout matches you could reference, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, personal favorite performances? I don't have a ton of video footage, but you can find, if you guys hunt pick on YouTube, you can find some different stuff with my matches. So, I make some mistakes here or there, so I'm not always proud of everything. Everybody makes mistakes in competitions. It's hard, man. You guys go into competitions, guys are fighting you. It's sometimes you to find out, and this is where what I was talking about earlier. Some guys are better out on the mat under the lights, and some guys are better in the room. And I would definitely say I'm better in the room than I am out in the lights. Definitely people who train with me on the mat, like in the practice room, always, I think they respect me more when they train with me there, and when they learn from my techniques. But then based off of my competition performances. But I pulled out some cool shit. I did some what I call the cruciplata. That was always a personal favorite. Catching that position, putting a guy in an omoplata and then putting him in a crucifix at the same time. I was really working on omoplatas back then, and that was a big highlight for me. Just being able to catch that a couple times in competition. Do you always roll with heel hooks with your training partners, or is it a rare thing for you to do in training? Christian asks. I do. We always have heel hooks at our gym. I'm in the boat where we take a picture. We get the heel hook. We don't pull on it. We don't crank on it. We give our opponent an opportunity to try to get his way out. If he can fight his way out in the first few seconds, then it's over. I also teach them, if a guy's got a heel hook and he's hanging onto it for 5 seconds, he probably could have cranked you. You should probably just tap. Or the guy who's holding it just goes, okay, I would have tapped you. He lets it go and catch and release. He doesn't have to take the fish out of the water, take it home and trophy it up on his mantle. He can just catch it, take a quick photo, say, look, I got it, and then just let you go and move on. And then no ego on either guy's part, and they just keep rolling. So anyway, that's kind of how we do it. We're not huge on heel hooks. I know that heel hooks are super popular. You got to know them, and we do work on them. But again, it's try to balance. There's a lot of people who are hot on heel hooks, and they have no understanding of how to pass a guard either. So it's all balance. Gotta have balance. Okay. Any thoughts on catch wrestling? I hate this subject. Catch wrestling's awesome. If you guys are training realistic, it doesn't matter what you do. You just have to be realistic. It's like, do you like Kung Fu? Do you like karate? Do you like kickboxing? Do you like Muay Thai? Do you like Taekwondo? Look, I like Taekwondo. If you train and you spar, Taekwondo is great. People shit on it all the time. But that's because the Taekwondo that they're talking about is the kind where they're doing and they're just doing forms. They're doing Taeguk 1 through whatever. And They're just doing forms, and that doesn't lead to a skilled fighter. But if you're doing Taekwondo like, who's a Taekwondo guy? Is Wonder Boy a Taekwondo guy? I don't even know. You guys will know better than me. He might be a karate guy. I don't even know. But there's lots of guys that did Taekwondo when they were kids, and they're great MMA fighters, and they have great kicks. Almost all the guys that have good kicks have a Taekwondo background or karate background. So the point being, catch wrestling's great. You just have to train realistically. The problem that I have with catch wrestling, and I will admit this, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but the old catch wrestling guys, there was a lot of bullshit. There was a lot of bullshit in the old catch wrestling, and I'm sure that it has evolved just like BJJ has. BJJ has tons of weaknesses, and as BJJ evolves, it's improving on the weaknesses. The leg lock game of the old 1990s guys was very limited. They did leg locks, but they were limited. Now it's getting better and better. In fact, the best leg lock guys in the world, I would say, are BJJ guys, not Sambo guys. Now Sambo guys get mad. You guys can tell I'm politically correct, right? I try to be all nice to everybody. The point is, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. The best leg lock guys right now, I think, are in the jiu-jitsu world because they're the ones that are doing most leg locks without restrictions. Sambo guys still have a lot of restrictions on their leg locks, and I don't think they're doing them to the same degree. Sambo guys are much better at throws. That again, that's Sambo. Everybody goes, leg locks are Sambo. How can you say that? Yes, they do a lot of leg locks, but they also focus a lot on their throws. The Danaher Death Squad, they've dissected it, guys. They're doing leg locks like insane, to an insane level. Anyway, moving on. Catch wrestling has evolved, and Josh Barnett, as an example, he represents the catch wrestling banner. He flies that flag. He also has a jiu-jitsu background. I'm not saying that what he does is all jiu-jitsu. All I'm saying is it's not all catch wrestling. It's mixed in with jiu-jitsu. And what happens is, just like jiu-jitsu steals from catch wrestling, when I was coming up, I learned from catch wrestling videotapes. I trained with Eric Paulson. I trained with Gokor. I learned a lot of their stuff that people would call catch. And I've integrated the stuff that I felt was good, and I basically threw away the shit that I felt was stupid. And I'm telling you guys, back in the day in the 90s, there was a lot of fruity, stupid shit. And it wasn't very good from the catch wrestling guys. And I know that I'll hurt someone's feelings, but I'm calling it how I see it. The better skills were in the jiu-jitsu department. It was plain and simple. There weren't a lot of catch wrestling. It could just be that there wasn't enough catch wrestling guys, but I'm calling it how I see it. Now, having said that, there's a lot you can learn from catch wrestling as well. And there's a lot that I use in my skills. That's why, like, people will even say all the time, they'll go, oh, that seems like more catch wrestling. Yeah, a certain percentage. I don't know how much percentage Coach Brian is catch wrestling, but I am a piece of that. There's a piece. Just like there's a small piece of judo, even though I'm not a judo guy. I have a piece of judo. I don't know. It's very small, but I do have a piece of it. I have obviously a large piece of wrestling and a large piece of jiu-jitsu. And but I try to learn from everybody, and that's what you should do. So it's not bad. Catch wrestling's great. I'm long-winded, aren't I? Please, okay. Let me see. Moving on. Guys, I'm never going to be able to get through all this. I'm already getting, it's getting late. I'm already 40 minutes in because I talked too damn much. Hey, I found out that executing an unlock going to make his hand hit my dick. And it's uncomfortable. Squeeze your thighs together. You don't want to hurt your dick. Squeeze your thighs together. Also, sometimes you're like right on your dick. You got to like force it into your thigh at that point. Try to control the thumb. Remember, thumb, pinky. This tells you where the elbow is. Pinky down, elbow down. Push it in that direction. So if it's hurting your balls, like readjust either your dick or your balls. I'm sorry that happened. Squeeze your thighs together. Pinching your thighs will help really reduce that. It's usually the reason why is you are either not wearing a supporting undergarment, like briefs, like maybe you're on boxers and then it's floating around. So that's not cool. And or you're just not pinching your knees enough. Okay. I feel like some people only beat me because they're bigger than me. Like they tell me how to grapple and talk to me like I'm worse than them. But I feel like I'm more skilled. Any tips? I know. I know, it's Kyle. It happens. Um, Sucks, doesn't it? You feel like you're better than your opponent, and you feel like he's just bigger than you, and then they talk down to you. Guys, grow some thick skin in this game. Take the criticism. Don't worry about it, and you've got to get better. If you're this much better, but they're bigger than you, guess what? You're this much better, but they're bigger than you. It might be just enough that they beat you. I'm sorry, you lose. You got to get better. Um, if I fight a bigger guy, I can beat almost everybody that's bigger than me because I'm pretty skilled. If they reach a certain skill level that's close to me, their size becomes too much for me. So, any tips? What are you? How about this? Are you want to grow? You want to like take in some extra food, get on a lifting program, gain some weight, so you can combat their size. If you're not going to do that, just be honest with yourself and get better at jujitsu. Get better with your skills. When I gained some weight because as I'm getting older, it's basically fat. I got some chub on my stomach, but that extra fat put me up at 160. I'm no longer where I used to lay was like 140, 45. When I was like that light, I go with a guy who was 180, and he was difficult to deal with. But now that I'm 160, 180 is not that bad unless he's like really good. So I could actually do okay with 180 now. Now it's like, you know, 200 pounders plus that are good. That I'm like, shit, I'm 160. I'm giving up 40 pounds. This is tough. You just got to get better. I mean, it's as simple as that. Every problem, you have to try to figure it out like it's a problem. Don't get an ego. Just say, hey, look, how can I beat this guy? When sometimes I face guys that are like 250, and sometimes they're a lot easier than the guy who's 200 because they're so big, they're kind of slow and they get tired really quick. But even that is a problem. How am I going to beat this guy who is 250? It's a fun problem to deal with. Just don't get hurt in the process. Okay, enough said. Do you ever train in the gi? Crazy chemist. The answer is that much. I have a gi class right now at my gym once a week. We just had it tonight, actually. We had like 3 people in it. My school is like the opposite of most gi schools. Gi, everybody shows up. No gi class once a week, nobody shows up, right? Only a few. We're no gi all the time, morning and night. We have gi one night, and hardly anybody shows up. It's because they don't have their gi or whatever. And some people don't want to do it. We're a no gi school. So I don't train in the gi, but I do advocate the gi. So the gi is good. I have trained in the gi quite a bit in my 23 years of jiu-jitsu. So what do you think about the U.S. projected population of white people at 40% in the year 2030 by Matt Okray? Oh my gosh, I know nothing about this. What do you think about it? I think you should not be racist and just, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it doesn't matter, guys. We're all people. I don't care how many white people there are, how many black people there are, how many Mexican, how many Asian. It doesn't matter. If we all treat each other with respect, what does it matter? But that's how I feel. Anyway. Hi, Master. How can I get one of your shirts or your rash guards? Is it possible to ship it to China? Thank you. Yeah, I guess it's possible. I don't know how much that would cost. I would not like to lose my ass sending you a t-shirt or a rash guard, but I can always try to figure it out. And if you can email me at coachbrianpeterson@gmail.com. coachbrianpeterson@gmail.com. And then I will try to figure it out for you. Let me know your size and what style of shirt. Just pick a shirt that you guys see us wear, and I probably have it. And if I don't have the size, I'll try to order it. Favorite submissions from half guard. Half guard? Um, you know, I like transitioning from half guard into Kimuras I like transitioning into omoplata. I can sometimes get triangles. I'm not really big on the triangle unless a guy is open to it. The knee bar is also very good from half guard. Um, and I've got some like little funky things, like funky shoulder locks and stuff, kind of like a mirror lock. Um, if I think more, I'll figure it out. Oh, a baseball choke. Um, I'm sure there's more. I've just got to get in the position. So, like, okay, like if you are a girl and a strong man has you mounted. Oh, going back to that other one. Okay, so I already talked about that. Robert Verdell, please tell David Dunn hello if you see him. Yes, I will. David Dunn's awesome. He's a black belt with Jean-Jacques, and we all work in the same town. He's more in like Canyon Country while I'm in Valencia, but he's a cool guy, and he brings his kids in. And I went fishing with him once. That was horrible, man. I went down to San Diego overnight trip to try to get some big tuna, and I puked on the boat like all day. It was horrible, but I took it like a champ. Have you ever worked with students that suffer from anxiety and panic attacks? What would you recommend to students that have anxiety issues? That's a tough one. I don't think so. Um, I don't think I have that experience. I do have experience with panic attacks. It's a story I cannot discuss because I don't want to talk about who had panic attacks because it's probably a guy you know. He's kind of a famous guy, famous fighter. So I won't talk about that. But yeah, I don't know what I could say other than try my best advice. This is off, I'm not an expert, guys. I would say if you have any anxiety issues about something, get close to it, but don't make it worse. In other words, get close to your uncomfortable feeling without making it boil over. And then try see if you can get closer each time until you become more comfortable. Like for example, let's say you're claustrophobic and you can't deal with a gi over your face and that makes you panic. Do a little bit of it and see if you can deal with that. See if that makes things a little bit better and do it little by little. Obviously, don't have a full blown panic attack. Don't push yourself to that limit. And maybe that might work. I don't know. I'm no expert. I favor any technique that I can effectively use on my opponent. Also, I don't like to use anything I don't know how to do a counter for. Ron. Oh, hey, Ron, I recognize you. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Um, yeah, don't like to use anything I don't know how to do a counter for. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but you should always try moves because then you find out if somebody can block it, and that's how you learn counters. When you first learn a move, I learn an armbar, then a guy blocks my armbar, and then I learn how he blocked my armbar, and that makes me better. So, but I do agree. Try to always know the counters. Oh my gosh, this list is a mile long. I'm never gonna get guys. I'm gonna have to put a time limit on this. So how about let's do 1 hour? I'm gonna go another 12. I'm gonna try to skip through this as fast as I can. I'm 45, wondering what's your approach in training for being able to do this sport for a long time. Don't, no ego, tap a lot, do not fight hard. You're 45, I'm 41, guys. I don't push my body to the limit anymore too much. You gotta just let it go, dude. Have fun, enjoy, tread water, don't try to race. Just get out there and swim, enjoy. Don't try to be too competitive. That's how you do it. Don't train with crazy people. Pick your partners, be smart. I'm at the gym of the guy that you just beat. Jacuzzi J. I don't know what you mean. So did I just beat? Anyway. Juan Ramon Munoz. Hi, coach. Your video's good. Thank you. I hit the gym hardcore, train MMA 5 days a week. Is that bad? No. Hardcore, 5 days a week. Awesome. Khalili, keep it up. You've been watching my videos for almost a year now. Great. Thank you. Can I start MMA at 26? Hell yeah. We have a guy who's like, I have a guy who's 42, Pius Lobo. He's won an amateur MMA title And then he turned professional, and he's had a few professional fights. Guy's 42 years old. Started way late. 59. Yep, tapping out guy in the 20s. That Vince Pichel guy. Oh, Jacuzzi J. I'm trying to go back. I'm at the gym of the guy that you just beat. Who did we beat? We beat. I'm sorry, I'm lost. We beat. Dang it. Who did we fight? I can't even remember. Oh, Roosevelt Roberts. Cool. You guys are out in Riverside, I assume. So, cool, man. Well, good luck to you. Roosevelt's awesome. He's a tough dude, very respectful, very skilled. So he's a young guy too. He's coming up. Who smokes and trains? I don't. I don't smoke at all. Steve Armstrong. Armstrong. That's awesome. Okay. What's the easiest takedown? Always 108 wants to know. Easiest takedown is, well, again, guys, it's levels. Easiest takedown to learn, snap down. Easiest to learn, bar none. If you learn the technique of a snap down, it doesn't require much athleticism. It doesn't require, it just requires you to have the skill. You don't have to lift anything. You just use your opponent's energy against them. Push into them. Good, sharp snap down. Put your weight on them, spin behind. Easiest takedown by far. Whatever. I could also argue something else, but sounds good to me. Someone tells me I can start MMA 26. Yes, you can. Thanks. I'm now a blue belt, Ron, and you've tapped a few black belts, brown belts, and I've been tapped out by white belts. Haha, it's just fun. Any advice for a beginner going to first class? No ego. Go to class. Enjoy. Have fun. Tap a lot. We already got the thoughts on catch wrestling. Cut your nails. Be clean and have fun. Yes. Important. I'd rather just suck my real anaconda on someone. That's as real as it gets. Okay? I don't know what that meant, but okay. Thank you for answering my anaconda Josh question. I enjoy all your videos. Just curious, you look Balkan. What's your nationality? I'm a Euro mutt, guys. I don't know. I'm Scandinavian. My name Peterson is actually spelled with an S-E-N, which is like more Scandinavian, Danish. So that's where my grandfather on my father's side came from. My mother's side could be a mix, Scottish, possibly English, and possibly Italian. Not sure. I'm a Euro mutt. I'm white, whatever. So nationality, I'm American, bro. I'm from the USA. Okay, sick. Coach Brian has an awesome crucifix from Side Control. He showed me that when I dropped in last month. Cool. Who wins, Maya or Astrid? Ooh, that's a good one. Guys, I hate picking. I like both guys a lot. Honestly, shit. That's a good fight. It's a good fight. I don't know. I'm not going to pick. I love them both. Do you ever train in the gi? Another one. Oh, that was the same one. Yes, I do. Every once in a while. Rarely. That much. Okay. You've been at it for 12 years, but the injuries keep accumulating. Steve, I'm sorry, bro. You've really got to taper off. It could be your training partners, but it also could be you. It's probably you. I'm being serious. You gotta suck it up, and you gotta just like know how to protect yourself. Once I was 12 years in, guys, I was skilled enough to know how to protect myself. I don't let people put me in shit. I just avoid it. And if somebody's good enough to put me in shit, tap. Serious. It's not that dangerous if you know how to do that. And also have weight limits on who you go with. Thoughts on Ryan Hall's style in MMA? Could it hold up against the top guys in the division? How would you coach someone against him? Guys, Ryan Hall is fucking amazing. He's incredible. His skill is so high level at what he does. It's very hard to stop him. However, how would I coach someone against him? Guys, at some point, he is going to, if he can't be effective with his striking, which he is sometimes, saw those kicks. If he cannot be effective with that and he cannot take you down, he's going to pull guard at some point. He's going to like Imanari roll. So what I would say to try to deal with Ryan Hall, you have to get familiarize yourself with the leg lock game. You cannot be clueless, guys. As simple as that. He fights a lot of guys that are just deathly afraid of the leg locks, and that's why they lose. So kind of like the approach that Alan Belcher took against Pajares. He didn't go, oh my God, Pajares, he's got heel hooks. No, he practiced how to deal with heel hooks. And then look what happened. He literally like got out of the leg locks and reversed it on Pajares and started beating him down and actually almost put him in a twister. He showed him, hey, look, I can beat you at grappling. But so many other people would say, oh, don't do it. Just avoid. Guys, you got to immerse yourself in the positions if you want to beat these guys. It's as simple as that. You got to really put in the time and then you avoid. But you have to put in the time because he's going to put you there. You're not, I mean, unless you get the one shot knockout, he's going to put you there at one point in the fight. You're going to have to defend it. So when you learn how to defend, let me tell you guys, defense is not that hard. Offense is hard. Doing what Ryan Hall does is way harder than dealing with what Ryan Hall does. Imagine you try to pull off the shit that Ryan Hall does. See if you could do that. And then just train leg lock defense and avoiding Imanari rolls and sprawling and doing all that. Do that for 3 months, 4 months. And I guarantee you, you'll have more success than offense after doing 3, 4 months. Okay, enough said. Ryan Hall's amazing. All right. Hey, Brian, what strength exercise lifts do you think are the best for grappling strength and explosivity? Cleans. Guys, you guys got to do cleans. The clean with a push press or a jerk is an incredible exercise. It's no secret. It's been around forever. The Olympic weightlifting sport. Get a coach that can teach you how to do a proper clean. Learning how to clean. When I learned how to clean, I'm not an amazing clean and jerk guy. I don't even do max lifts, but learning the skill. Go to a CrossFit gym even. They can teach you, even though they're not the best at it, a lot of those guys can teach you the basics. And once you get the basics and you lift, as long as you're not lifting an insane amount of weight or pushing yourself beyond what your body can handle, you can get incredible strength and explosiveness. I won't say explosivity. I don't know if that's a word. Maybe it is. Explosiveness you'll get from doing cleans. That's what I would say is the single best exercise for getting explosive. Grappling strength, pull-ups, push-ups. Honestly, pull-ups, push-ups. Working on your abs is good. It makes you look good. It does make your core feel strong, but honestly, before I would do abs, I would always do pull-ups and push-ups. You can get a little bit of core from doing both of those exercises just by keeping your core tight while you do them. It definitely won't wear you out like working on your abdominals, but pull-ups and push-ups, incredible. Squats, got to do them. Squats. I'm sorry, I don't know why I didn't mention that. Those are the 3 main exercises I do all the time. Pull-ups, push-ups, squats. If you want to get super explosive, do plyometrics, box jumps, explosive plyo push-ups. And then for pull-ups, learn the kipping pull-up. It's explosive. So it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But once you know what you're doing and you're not doing max, if you're doing max, then you can hurt yourself. If you're doing heavy weight, or if you're doing, let me see how many kipping pull-ups I can do without stopping. You're going to get hurt. You're going to hit your chin on the bar at some point. What should you focus on as a white belt? White belts should focus on the hip escape, the core movement of the hip escape. Learn how to be on your back and recover your guard. If you can recover your guard, you'll get your ass kicked a lot less. Because you're going to get taken down by higher belts. You're going to get swept by higher belts. You're going to be on your back a lot. So learn how to hip escape and keep somebody in your guard. Good hip movement, and then you'll at least won't die so many times in 5 minutes. People say I have insane grips. What can I do with this info? I'm a close guard guy, 2-stripe white belt. Dude, perfect. Close guard. Keep your grips. Insane grips. Use them to play spider guard. I don't play spider guard because I don't play in the gi at all, hardly. But play spider guard. Get your best spider guard coach and watch the spider guard videos and use those grips. Okay. Hello from Russia. Hello. I kickboxed in the 80s. Love it. Okay, Ron. I never thought I would be training any other martial art than King BJJ. Yep. 45. BJJ purple belt. You've inspired me to take up wrestling. Any advice, especially with injury mitigation? Yes. Guys, now let me talk some shit on wrestling. Talk some shit on BJJ. Now let me talk shit on wrestling. Wrestling, the way it's done. Remember how I said what the way jiu-jitsu's done has a problem? Well, guess what? The way wrestling's done at most places, it's way too rough. You're going to get hurt. Wrestling is a sport for the young, the way it's taught. It can be taught like jiu-jitsu. It's just that no coaches know how to do that. And when I say no coaches, I mean 99% do not know how to coach wrestling for the old. So if wrestling had martial arts schools, more of them, and they had to deal with not teaching youth, but teaching, let's just say, 25 years old all the way up through 70, they would learn, because right away people get hurt and they would lose students, and then they would learn how to teach. It would evolve. Well, this is something, because I'm both a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu guy, I use the best of both worlds. So when I teach wrestling, I teach a jiu-jitsu style of wrestling. When I teach jiu-jitsu, I teach a wrestling style of jiu-jitsu. And I balance the two. There's an ebb and flow, and it's very important you learn that. All right. So how do you stop the injuries from occurring? You're going to have to be very careful with most places. I don't trust anybody except myself. I don't, honestly, guys, I know they're out there. There has to be. I don't, every wrestling coach I meet, they don't understand unless they're old. If you get them old enough, Mike Mena, guys, I had him at my wrestling camp. He's very gentle and he knows how to not hurt you. So many coaches, dude, they are just, they're rough and tumble. That's how they do it. So how do you deal with assholes that are too rough when practicing a move? I learned my lesson to volunteer as practice dummy to get payback. Johnny Smith asks, guys, I do it every night. I'm the coach, so I can do it. It's easy for me. I just tell people, and I'm being honest, like, people respect me, so I just tell them. I go, hey, look, you're being too crazy. Calm down. Just relax. I have said the word relax to my students so many times. They hear me say relax, and I know at some point they're going, what the fuck? This guy says relax all the time, but I keep telling them until they relax, and I just don't let them do it. I create a culture in my gym. Jiu-jitsu guys think we're rough. Wrestlers think we're soft. It's a beauty. It's a beautiful thing. Wrestlers always go, you guys are softer. Jiu-jitsu guys go, you guys are rough. And I go, no, we're just right. And if I see us getting too soft, I increase the roughness. If I see ourselves too rough, I back it off. So, guys, we're at 1 hour. We've already crossed over. I'm going to have to go. I got out of the gym and I wanted to help you guys. But, you know, this is all I could do for you guys. I try to put in an hour talking. I know I can't get to all the stuff. I would love to read and go through it. I will right now, but thank you guys so much for all your support. This is why I'm doing this right now. I always feel guilty if I can't get a video out. I have pretty much done away with the every day. It's very hard to do every day. I usually take the weekends off. Sometimes I get a Sunday video, especially if I miss one. I try to get you guys 5 videos a week, and tonight I felt so guilty that I didn't do a video, so I wanted to do this. I just put in an hour. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I really appreciate you guys. I want this channel to keep growing. I want to keep helping people. It inspires me so much when I hear all of your problems, and I try to help you. And so many people send me messages every day, guys. I get tons of mail, and I am just trying my best. I get paid, obviously, through the ads on YouTube. It is not that much, guys. I am not making it's just a few $100, but that is nice. You know, it's nice to make a few $100 off of the YouTube ads. Patreon also, they come in there and I get a few $100 more from Patreon. So it helps. But in order for me to like continue, it's not like I'm gonna stop, guys. I'm gonna keep going. But what I'm saying is, it certainly would be nice if we could make this channel even better. And I want to do that. I know that there's things that I could do better. Maybe I could get better camera work. The camera doesn't sound so good sometimes, and maybe I don't know, I could do better. I want to try, but also there's how much investment do I give to this little side hustle? While I have a gym, I want to start a barbecue business. I have to try to like balance my life, my social life, maybe a love life someday. So I'm still not married, but I want to try to balance my life and keep it healthy. But I feel like I'm the happiest guy on the planet. So no depression here, just a lot of work, and I love doing it. But I can only invest so much, but I'm doing the best I can, guys. So thank you so much for everything. You guys make my life so much richer. Serious, like years ago, I didn't have all this, and I'm not saying I was depressed then, but this is like a new thing for me. In the last year, I've really put in a lot of work, and there's so many of you guys that support me. And look at this, I can just open up my computer and boom, we got 50 people listening. And I know that's not a million, but it feels like a million to me because you guys are all here and you guys are interested in learning from me. And I got to admit, it makes me feel good. So, you know, I want to keep helping you guys. And any kind of financial, uh, what's the word, benefit I can get from it is obviously great. I need that because I need to survive, and I won't be able to do this stuff forever. I'm going to someday grow too old to be able to do a whole bunch of demonstrations, but I hope by then I'll have more and more high level students that can like regurgitate what I've taught. Obviously, I plan on doing this as long as I possibly can. I don't want to give up. But anyway, right now is still, I'm at that point where I'm over the hill. I'm coming down the hill, but I'm still good enough where I can like still show and I can still regulate on some dudes. But I know that those days are numbered. So it's a nice time. It's a nice time in my life because I'm pretty wise. I'm still learning too, guys. I don't know what it is, but I constantly I'm coming up with new stuff, and I can't wait to share it with you. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy your night. Teach me grappling. I'll see you guys later. I'm out.